Okay, it's 9:30 in the morning and nobody's out of bed yet. Everybody's in their air-conditioned motorhomes, and I'm going to go make a video talking about the healthiness of living in a organic, natural, no plastic, no chemical tiny home. But this tent is not that healthy because it's all nylon and I'm breathing all this plastic through the windows. So I'm kind of losing my Henry David Thoreau concept with this tent. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham and I'm living in a tent for maybe 1 to 2 months, for sure 1.5 months, but I may stay longer. But I'm here till July 25th or something like that. Okay, I kind of came to the woods to be similar to Henry David Thoreau. Okay, I'm kind of laughing because he's probably rolling over in his grave if he was in this campsite because everybody's sleeping till it's probably 9:45 right now, and it looks like everybody in the campsite's sleeping until I don't know when. But I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, done a bunch of stuff already, drank my coffee, went around, and I'm back to nature. Okay. But I'm sleeping in a tent, and I thought the tent would be a good alternative to a tiny home, but I realized that I'm actually in a completely microplastic container. Okay. And I'm probably breathing a lot of plastic because in a way, the hotter the temperature is, the hotter the plastic is. See, one problem with plastic dishes, plastic whatever, is that when you heat them up, they give off BPAs, and they give all these plastics off. Okay, but I'm thinking a lot about a house free from dementia. Okay, and a lot of people would probably not understand it, but I want to explain that, in my opinion, dementia is normally a cause of too much plastic, too many chemicals, too much alcohol, and different things. Of course, the older we get, the more likely you are to have dementia. Okay, but back to nature is a way to limit the dementia. So how can you do this? I want to build a Henry David Thoreau house, okay? A kind of a luxury. I want it to be a luxury house. I want it to be a stick-built house. I want it to be just like your big old houses, but totally organic, totally natural. Nothing in there that is going to create a sense of problem. And I'm going to go through that house right now and try to tell you what I would do. He actually lived in a 10 by 15 home, okay, or house, and he didn't call it a cabin, he didn't call it a shack, he called it his home. And I'm living in a 10 by 15 tent. And he probably had a little better situation because in his house, I think he could stand up in the whole house, and hopefully he had a little more headroom. Okay, but he did probably have some smoke fumes coming in from the heating system. He considered shelter, fuel, food, the necessities of life. Okay, he considered fuel a necessity of life. But I've been thinking a lot about tiny homes, and the more as I get older, I'm 65 plus years old, and I see all my friends that have lived these lives of comfort. Their brains are going to mush. Okay, they cannot think and whatever. And I was in an assisted living place recently, and it's quite obvious that the mental capacity of people is diminished as we get older. And is there a way to stop this? Henry David Thoreau's house, commonly referred to as his house on Walden Pond, measured 10 by 15 feet. A simple structure was built in 1845. Thoreau's residence for over 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. He actually went there on July 4th, okay? It's kind of an independence, a separation from society. So in a lot of ways, I'm trying to relive Henry David Thoreau's lifestyle. Now, I am failing radically, other than I don't know. I realize that a tent is not the way to go, okay? But either is a motorhome, and the only way to actually get close to his situation is to build a tiny home, okay? And let me talk about an experiment to build a tiny home is what I keep thinking about. It's an experiment to stop dementia, in my opinion, okay? Dementia is a problem caused, in my opinion, from from your skin absorbing gas fumes, exhaust fumes, car fumes, chemicals in the air, acid rain, eating foods with out of plastic containers, eating any kind of thing. But I'm going to go through what I dream of building. Okay, I dream of building a house that could help to reverse the. Okay, you got two different things. When you're inundated and your body is full of chemicals, you have to unclog it. Okay, and so if you're going to reverse the effects of the forever chemicals, the plastics, the pollution in the air, and all these things, you have to first stop it, and then you can maybe sort of reverse it. Is it reversible? I believe probably 50% of all dementia is reversible. Okay, I believe that it's with some simple modifications you can do it, but you first have to limit certain things, and you have to get the body moving. But here are some ways that you reverse. I'm just giving you some quick off the cuff ways to reverse dementia. Sweat, okay? Sweat is to get toxins out of the body. If you want to get rid of the plastics in the body. Chelation is a system where you have some chemicals that enter your body. They bind up with other chemicals and they leave the body. You're excreted, okay? Chelation is the term. So you can have heavy metals and different things that chelated out of the body. Cruciferous vegetables, which I don't know, just means normal, leafy vegetables, helps to chelate the body. Gravity flow. Gravity flow is to get the blood to go to your brain, okay? I truly believe the number one thing you could do is put a person in a vibrating chair and put their head and put them on a inverse, a table that goes upside down to put their head below there, and or just elevate their head, elevate the bed and take their pillow away from them. Now they're not going to like that, right? So the pillow and the elevate the bed. If you elevated the foot of the bed and you made it so that they're doing this in the hospital already when they're having heart problems and all sorts of things. They elevate the legs, right? Well, they elevate the legs and they're keeping the head up. The head is the most important thing. So, oxygen tanks. Okay, you can give people a breath of oxygen, because what's happening? They say that 7.5% of the blood is cut off to your brain if you wear a tie. Okay, so you can think that these are simple things that I believe would help dementia. Okay, but to build a house, we have to first talk about what is acceptable materials. If you want a natural house, I watched all these cabins, and this guy was making a thing talking about the problems with cement as he's sitting there in front of a chipboard, glued together piece of wood. I was like going, this guy is clueless. At least don't sit in front of a chipboard thing talking about the problems with cement when you're got the chemicals of a chipboard, which is probably worse. Okay, so you have chipboards and plywood, which is glued together. Okay, glue gives off toxin. My friend Rich was talking about these totes. There's a tote poisoning, these plastic boxes. I'm surrounded by plastic in my thing, but the only way to keep the water from the way I'm right now is the totes. Okay, I put them in the totes, but to get my tent to breathe enough is really a problem. Okay, Okay, but acceptable materials in a completely natural, organic, nothing, no forever chemicals, no plastic house would be, let's see, stainless steel. Okay, stainless steel doesn't give off chemicals. Okay, wood, glass, for the most part, concrete. When you're pouring concrete, there's a problem. Okay, if you seal it, you probably got a problem too. I'm not sure clay, like you got these clay walls, or you got clay shingles, these round clay shingles. Uh, Duck down feathers, I'm not sure. I don't want any particles that would go in my lungs. But the idea is to eliminate all the possible contaminants to the brain, okay? Things that can go through the blood-brain barrier and cause you to have problems. But we got to get oxygen to the brain. We got to get nutrients to the brain. But we got to first stop all the things that are polluting the brain. Concrete. Okay, problems. The things that are problems for this house, tiny house, would be any kind of plastics, chipboard, plywood, dust, alcohol. Alcohol drinking is a problem. Okay, alcohol cleaning, any kind of cleaning supplies is a problem. People think that clean, 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 and all they do is pollute their brain. Uh, Cleaning supplies. I got to add that. Cleaning supplies, any kind of soaps. Soaps go into your skin and come out your pecker, guys, or your colon. It's things that go in your lungs. The three major types of cancer is lung cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer, your pecker. Okay, smoke from flames, propane. Propane's a problem. I'm not sure about grout in between ceramic tiles, but you would also have ceramic tiles as probably a possible ceramic tile as a possible building material. So the building materials I'm talking about is ceramic tile, concrete, leather, duck down feathers, clay, concrete, glass, wood, and stainless. Okay, so you can make a house out of mostly wood, okay, because wood is natural and it's good. The minute you put any kind of finish on it, paints, you have a problem. So I'm going to add paints to the problem thing. So I don't want paint, but there's a situation where you can. I was trying to study whether you could put avocado oil and treat the wood. Okay, and I'm thinking that you could oil down all the wood and make it healthy. You don't want to use vegetable oil or anything like that, but you could probably use olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and seal up the wood. Okay, the reason why you seal the wood is when it breathes in, when it breathes in water, it will warp. Okay, so they're going to have wood shakes for the roof. I don't know if you know what a wood shake is, but they used to. I've actually repaired wood shake barns, wood shakes. So I've also got I'm making a Pinterest channel on this thing. But here's some of the issues. Air. Your air could be purified by the trees. So if you put this out, somebody was talking about doing this in all the building restrictions, and I would be building this outside a city, at least probably 10 miles, and hopefully about a half mile from a major highway. So anything with a 4-lane highway is a problem. I will admit that there's a train here, just like Henry David Thoreau. Henry David Thoreau was complaining about the Irishman working on the train and how many people, blah, blah, blah. And he was on Walden Pond near Concord, Massachusetts. But the air is purified by the trees. So as you can see right now, I have better purified air because the trees and the ground purify the air. We got to breathe natural air, okay? And I'm going to try to get rid of the air conditioning and the furnaces, okay? So I don't want conditioned air. When I say air, like when you take air and you run it through a gas forced air furnace, you're heating the air in this heat exchanger, and then you're changing the structure of the air. Okay, an air conditioner is normally very dirty. Okay, and you got freons and gases. There's really not. I don't think there's much problem at all to make a house with up to about 95 degrees temperature that would stay on the inside under say 72 degrees. I don't think that's a problem at all. I think that's really quite easy. Trying to keep something heated without, you know, polluting it. I mean, you could heat water, and you can have either radiator heat or gas or electric heat. Probably the best would be radiant heat. Okay. How would I keep people cool, air conditioned? You'd need a fan with either a wood blade or a stainless steel. Stainless steel is about the only safe metal. Copper and plastic piping is a problem. Richard Gundry, Dr. Gundry, does this big thing on all the pots and pans and the problems with Teflon and all these things. And he doesn't address the problem that we have copper piping and plastic piping. And if you have hot water, okay, hot water in plastic piping could be giving off chemicals. So I'm not sure how you have plumbing without having a problem. Okay, you could probably, I don't know if there is stainless steel piping, but I'm going to propose that we would have well water with a deep well. A deep well means that what happens in the aquifer, the water goes through the soil and it cleans it. Okay, and if you see a lot of these old filter systems, they got these five-gallon things or the filters where they're always dirty too. Okay, I'm always laughing. These things, you got to be able to clean these things, but you need a filtering system, and some of them are sending them through charcoal or clay, and then they got a filtering system, and you have to think about it. But a filtering system means nothing unless you're testing the water, and testing the water can be very expensive. But you need steel fans, and then we're going to have EMF rays. Okay, EMF is the electrical magnetic forces or whatever. These radiant things. Like I'm kind of worried about these electric cars, especially when you got a multitude of little batteries in it. I'm not sure this is exactly what the electrical chemical synapses need. Okay, and they're talking about blue screens or whatever. How to do it? You got Faraday cages, which are things that diminish they neutralize the rays. A bed, you need a mattress stuffed with what? Feathers, paper. What can we stuff it with? Leaves. I mean, what can you stuff it with that's natural, that doesn't have any plastics? You got to have 100% cotton sheet. I just bought a Muslim 100% cotton sheet, and I'm going to start testing this stuff. This shirt, I'm laughing because I went to great lengths to try to make sure that I got cotton for my shirts, and I'm almost positive that this is not a 100% cotton shirt, mainly because it doesn't wrinkle. Okay, shirt that doesn't wrinkle is not 100% cotton shirt. But 100% cotton bedding, sheets, pillowcases. I don't really want a pillow for people. I'm only one way I can wean people from a pillow is by putting a television above their head so that they have to look back and they lay in the bed and watch TV and fall asleep. And you can actually wean somebody from a pillow. Climate. Okay. Ideally, if you got a dementia person or you're going to be retiring in healthiness, you've got to. It might be best to set this up in a paradise climate like Lake Atalan, Guatemala. There's 2 or 3 places in Colombia. Medellin, you can't do that. Baguio, Philippines. Oaxaca, Mexico. Boquete, Panama, many places, and I don't really even want to discuss these places because I don't want people to go there anymore. I want you guys to stay home. Okay, do us a favor, stay home and to keep your craziness inside the United States. But I would be always living half the year. One of the reasons why I'm living in a tent, I thought about building a tiny house last year, and I said, wait a minute, I'm never going to live in the United States during the winter, okay? But there is ways to heat the house, okay? But you could have your, in a lot of ways, these people with dementia and older that are retired need to be in some perfect climates where they're thing. And anywhere in the tropics, 23 and a half degrees above the equator, 23 and a half degrees below the equator, that tropical area, when you get to be about 4,400 feet to 5,300 feet or something like that, it's pretty much a perfect steady climate, where it's almost always between, say, 65 and 75. Okay, it's a perfect climate. If you want to know what the climate of where you're at, you can do a Google search and search for Google climate data. You search for climate data, then you say the name of the city, like Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it'll tell you 12 months how much the highs and lows of the temperature. Like where I was at in Carmel was pretty steady, except it was too cold. Okay, so what's the problem with cold is you're wearing a lot of clothing. So actually the healthiest living is really living with shorts, probably in a non-polluted area, cotton shorts, cotton shirts, and some sort of, probably going to have to wear, it's pretty hard to, I guess you could have leather shoes, but most people are using tennis shoes, so you're going to have to wear some heavy duty cotton socks. Or I'm wearing my sandals right now. They're plastic. So how do we get rid of this plastic? I mean, am I going to really wear leather sandals? I used to wear these Huarache sandals from Pakistan. Pretty hard to find. But I think that if I wanted to make somebody healthy, I would try to get them in the best climate where they are the most stable climates. There's climates where the temperature really doesn't go much over about a 15 degree spread. Like here, it gets down to 55 degrees and it's cold. Okay, cold and thing. There is a hormesis hormetic value of straining the body and being cold. I do think that it would be good to take people with dementia and elderly people and let them get a little chilly for about 2 hours so that they wake up, okay? You don't want, and you also can get them too hot where they wake up, okay? People are living in too much comfort. The type of clothing you have is, Richard's gonna love this one, cotton, hemp, bamboo. You can sleep naked, okay? These are acceptable materials for clothing. Cooking, electric cooking, outside if possible, so that there's no fumes or whatever coming off of anything. A summer kitchen is a half in, half out kitchen, okay? And then you have, you want to cooking with propane causes a problem. Okay, that is a gas. Okay, did I put that up there as the problem, children? Noises, never stop noises. Okay, you want to have your transportation systems away from anybody. And in the ideal home, in my opinion, would be a home with a 12-inch apron of concrete all the way around it. And the reason is so that this is livable space. Okay, so even though you only have about a, say, 800 square foot house, or 1,000 or less, say 600 to 800 square feet, or 400 to 800 square foot house, you also have another 1,000 square foot of livable space on the thing. The problem with a wooden deck is you gotta treat it, and then it's going to mold, okay? Because mold is a very big problem. Any kind of algae growth, mold growth, or anything like that is a problem, okay? Dishes, they have to be out of glass or stainless steel. There's probably other things too, ceramics or whatever. Dogs and cats, I truly believe that dogs and cats are bringing in a host of a lot of things that you don't really want in the house. Okay, earthing is to have a person really get back to a mental shape. They need to get their synapses, the chemical synapses thing. So they need to be walking in grass. See, the moisture on the ground right here, when you walk through this grass, it equalizes the electrical uh, currency in your body, and it makes you feel good. It's like walking barefoot in the grass, walking barefoot in the sand feels good. Why? It's because it takes the electrical charge in your body. You ought to be walking barefoot most of the time. Okay, electricity. Okay, there are Faraday cages, which is a way to block electricity. They're going to be doing a lot of this because the people are going to be stealing all your credit cards from your cell phones and off your fobs. You can actually steal a person's car by everybody in the park sleeping, but this guy, I don't know why he's putting wood mulch around the children's stuff. I would not put wood mulch around children's thing. They're going to get splinters in their feet as they walk around barefoot, right? But they could have nice, clean sand, right? Okay, EMF. EMF is these electrical magnetic forces. So you got to take and limit the amount of computers, smartphones, and things. One of the reasons people don't like this 5G things is they're saying it's microwaving you. Okay, but you can't have a microwave in a house. Okay, a microwave is very, very bad for the body. Okay, blue screens is the screens on the phones, right? Okay, no soap, zero soap on the body, no chemicals. You got to exfoliate, wash. There's a thing called a loofah material, which is part of a gourd, which is natural. I just bought some of them so I can do my special Andy Graham rejuvenation cream, which I haven't been able to use for the last 5 or 6. I'm almost 20 days, but I got some and I got everything all through it. I'm going to make a video. But this loofah is an exfoliation material that is very healthy and it's natural. So the fans have to be wood or stainless steel blades, right? And then again, you're creating EMF. You're creating things. So if you do have any kind of fans, but I do know that fans cause a problem for the eyes, okay? A lot of people want overhead fans. Those are horrible on your eyes, okay? And a lot of the reasons why I think people have eyesight problems and hearing problems is they're putting soap on their head and it goes down into their ears, into their nose, into their eyes. So you're having eye problems because you got too much soap in your eyes and your ears. One thing I do right now is I put my head underneath the spray of the shower and I clean up, and I do it for a count of 10, 1001, 1002, and I wash the ears. There's almost no thing, but hot water is a great purifier. You don't really need soap on your body. You can exfoliate away, and with the hot water systems we have right now. But understand that any kind of hot water in plastic pipes, it's kind of a question, right? They need to have their family close. The nuclear family is what keeps people. It's been in the blue zones, the areas around the planet where they're living the longest. It's mostly family, right? They're normally family, religious, community. Right now, the drive-through mentality of going through the drive-thrus for the coffee, the drive-thrus for all the restaurants, and it's almost like a conspiracy. It feels bad. It's like the whole medical industry wants to keep us sick, okay? Community is one of the best things for keeping a person from having dementia problems. Floors, carpet-free. No carpet on the floors. Maybe wood on the floor, concrete, ceramic tile. I don't know about the grout, right? Wood floors that are coated with oils, right? The oil, see, you don't want these things to warp. That's the problem. Okay, furniture has to be cotton covered. I don't know about duck down. I'm a little worried about the small particles of it. We stuff it with what? What do we stuff furniture with naturally? In Africa, they have these beds they sell for about $10 that are full of grass, okay? But, going to mold and all sorts of stuff, and it gets insects inside of it. So there's problems. But I'm kind of thinking we talk to an upholstery person and get them online to make natural furniture. Heating, you can have radiator heat or radiant heat. Radiant heat is when it radiates, it doesn't have a blower behind it. See, the minute you take air and you run it through an electrical heater, it's a problem. I'm laughing because this morning the air conditioner's on and all the things, and I have a electric heater in my tent, and it gets down to about 55, and I want to turn on the heat because the transfer of heat inside a tent in Africa, I realized that they have these steel roofs and they live in these little things, and the room becomes instantly cool at night. The problem is kind of a greenhouse during the day. They need a double roof. Okay, any house that I would ever build would have two roofs on it. One for shade and one for the roof. Okay, concrete roof would probably be the best. A concrete wood with a wood shake roof above it or whatever. I don't know what type of nails to use. I don't know if they have stainless steel nails. Insulation. What do you put in the walls for insulation? Do you want to have a 1 foot wide wall? See, when they had brick buildings, if you're going around a neighborhood and you want to see what the oldest house is, it's normally a brick house. And a 2 foot wide wall would be ideal out of bricks. Laundry is a problem with somebody with dementia, senile, old. You have to have it clean, but you got to go to a place where they're going to clean it, and then they're going to rinse it 2 or 3 times if they're going to use any kind of soaps. I don't know what the situation. I do believe that with super hot water and washing things on almost like a 2-hour cycle would purify everything. Okay, using chemicals to purify is defeating the purpose of being clean. You're actually healthier. A lot of people put chemicals on their hands so much. I think these nurses and doctors are absolutely crazy when they're putting so many chemicals on their hands. Plumbing, you got copper versus plastic, and then when you put this primer on plastic that eats into the plastic, then you put this glue on there. This is not good stuff. Okay, any kind of rubbery tube is a problem. Roofs, wood shakes, clay tiles, stainless steel, concrete, a double roof. Everything needs a double roof on this tiny house. Thermal cooling. Okay, one of the reasons why I know you can almost always get cooled is you don't want to build at water table level. Like I'm always laughing at Lake Athlon where I've been many times. These dingalings come down and they build houses right on the shore, and the water goes up and down all the time because it's an endorphic lake. It has no drainage. So it can go up and down as much as 10, 20, 30, 40 feet. You can see the docks around there where they have gone up and down. The only one that's any very smart at all is the floating dock at San Pedro. But thermal cooling is, I would take this ground and build into the side of a hill and at least go down about 3 or 4 feet and build the 1/3 or 1/2 of the house below the ground level, in the shade, under trees. So a fully forested. When a developer puts a bulldozer through an addition and then they take down all the trees, I think they're insane. They take away the natural beauty of the tree and whatever. So thermal cooling, I don't think you should have a house below the ground because of the problem of mold and algae and things growing. You got to keep a lot of fresh air flowing through these houses, and there is a value of having cross-flow ventilation with transom windows. Transoms are the areas around that space above the door that allows air to go. See, they did all this stuff, and then they do it. You need to have the house facing the sunrise, and then maybe a door on both sides. Okay, but the idea is that in a toilet, you want to have a wood seat on it. Toiletry, a wood toothbrush. They actually have bamboo I got a link on this thing. I'll try to put this link to what I'm reading off in the description. But you have wood toothbrushes made out of bamboo, and then you got boar hair brush. I mean, you don't want any plastics. You gotta stop the plastic. Transportation, probably with golf carts, and then vans with the windows open. Okay, and going out in the heat of the day, really, people should be traveling in the mornings, the early morning or the late afternoon. It's going out during the middle of the day to cook. It's kind of crazy. Seats have to be covered with plastic, so we need some seat covers. We need an upholstery person to go through the thing. I mean, they have leather seats, but they got probably oils on them. But you could have completely cotton, padded seats, completely padded seats. So I mean, an ideal person would have, a rich person should have. See, if I was rich, I would have a sauna, a solar sauna, and then a cold tank. So I do this back and forth, opening and closing the pores to get things. When you're in a sauna, see, one of the reasons why the whole blood system is plugged up. Okay, you need to have the pores open and sweat to get rid of the autophagy and the lymph and all the excess water. And you need to give these older people a lymph massage. I tried to get one for my mom to get rid of her edema in her ankles, and the doctor said, "Why?" I said, "Because her body is full of pollution." See, it was quite obvious that she wasn't getting any flow. And I think that in most places they should be giving a lymph massage to older people every day of the week, especially if they got dementia. Water and sewers. I'm not sure how you filter water. I mean, there's these clay filters and there's these different things. You got to filter the water, but you have a deep well water. That means it goes down about 200 feet where it's purified, and then you got to test the water. Stainless steel pipes. I don't know. I think the points on the bottom of these wells are stainless steel, but I don't know about the piping coming up. Galvanized steel scares me, right? You have to have 2 entries into the house, and you're going to have to you have these windows that are all wood windows, and they open at the top and they close at the bottom so that you can cooling with mosquito netting, right? I don't know. Where do you buy stainless steel? I have no idea where to get. I know plastic mosquito net for the windows, and I know, I don't know. I mean, I haven't found that. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I dream of a world free of white lies. Little tricky crap. Like I was trying to buy these toothbrushes today, and they were so tricky. Okay, and they were acting like these were 100% natural, no BPAs, and they were lying. Okay, I dream of a world where there's no white lies, and it's a real problem. I know I annoy people because I'm extremely specific in what I want out of life. Philosopher. What is a philosopher? A philosopher. Anything you do is how you do everything. But if you're willing to lie on anything, you're willing to lie on everything. I should write that down. If you're willing to lie on anything, you're willing to lie on everything. That's a good one. I just thought that one up. Philosophy is a love of wisdom. Wisdom seeks truth by binding knowledge and experience. A lot of people think they're a philosopher, but they have no actual on-the-ground experience. Henry David Thoreau would freak out at this place right here, especially when the air conditioner kicked in, right? But a lot of these hippy-dippies, tree huggers are not purists. I was on a permaculture place, organic farming, blah, 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 in Costa Rica, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And the guy was just really just a criminal, okay? And a lot of the permaculture places are criminal, okay? They don't actually, they're not purist, okay? I'm not a tree hugger in a sense because, why am I not a tree hugger? I don't want to talk to these guys because they can't really separate what they're doing. the organic food, whatever. These people that are they just don't get it. You go into a health food shop. There's one in Fort Wayne, and everything's in plastic. Everything is when you go to GMC or all these places, everything's in plastic. I'm making this cream that you put on your skin. It's a combination of cod liver oil, liquid vitamins, and 92 minerals. And I bought some glass bottles. Okay, philosophy is the love of wisdom. Wisdom seeks truth by binding knowledge and experience. A philosopher seeks truth without being influenced by love, acceptance, money, or advertising. I tell you the truth, I cannot care about whether you like me. Okay, this is my dream, to build a tiny house that is kind of off the grid. I would like to probably have solar panels. You don't want solar panels that close to the house. There's all these problems with EMF. I mean, I can't imagine having an electric car that electrocutes me, right? How much of this radiation? I have one of these. I bought one of these little things. You can buy them on Amazon. They're like EMF detectors. And you get within 10 feet of a microwave and they start going crazy. I had one of my mom's and I was like, whoa. My mom was, she had a pacemaker at the end. Some of this stuff is horrible, okay? The way the body, when they shock you, when you see it on the thing, that is shocking the body, because we have these electrical chemical synapses. Our body is electrical, okay? It is not free of electricity. So the earthing idea of walking through the grass is the balancing of your body. Okay, anybody is interested in become a Patreon. I really, I'm only talking to Patreon people, really. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've lived in 114 countries, and it took me 26 years to live in these countries. 26 years of nonstop roaming in the planet. And I can tell you it's a lot cheaper and a lot healthier to live in another country besides the United States or any of the 25 overdeveloped industrial nations. Okay, the overdeveloped industrial nations are polluting their people. Yeah, they're living longer, but they're just keeping us alive. They're not really we're not thriving. Life is good, guys. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Hear that train? That must have drove Henry David Thoreau just to think about, the industry taking over his world. He actually, don't think he lived on a pond by himself. And I'm laughing when I interviewed this lady. She was talking about the wonder of him building a house on the pond. And I go, in 1845, everybody could build a house. That wasn't a big deal. And he wasn't isolated. He was only like a mile and a half from the village. So he walked into the village constantly. And then he had a lot of social life because people came to the Walden Pond. Change your life. Walk away from the forever chemicals, to plastics, to synthetic. Polyester clothing. You almost have to go 100%. You think about it. You sweat. You get really hot. You sweat. You got polyester clothes inserting plastic right into your bloodstream. Life is good, guys.